Okay. I actually have one really important subject to talk about today, but I also have another one that I'm just going to touch on real quick, just because it's so sweet. My husband wanted to make me breakfast in bed this morning, and he tried to make my scallop biscuit bread, but he's never watched how I make it, so it turned out kind of like pancakes, poor guy. So I'm going to have to show him how to do that later. And if you want the recipe, I'll share it to you. Just ask. It's really, really simple. 3 ingredients plus water. That's it. It's that easy. So anyhow, the more important subject is weather manipulation. Now, I've had people call me a conspiracy theorist for saying that, but it's true. I included a link to the business that is involved in manipulating weather, or at least one of them. In one of my videos, I included the link, so I'll include it in this one as well. And then you've got all these people on YouTube. If you don't pay attention, you really need to look up Mike Morales. I'm trying to remember the other guy's name. I'll have to get in touch with Brian, High Impact Vlogs, High Impact Flicks. He actually recently promoted him as well. And then there's a lovely gal that Mike and I just started talking to here recently, and her handle is Passionate for the number 4 Christ W. But I'm gonna put the links in, so you guys don't have to worry about writing any of that down or trying to find it yourself. Now, I'm actually looking up at the sky. We pay attention now. Most of the clouds look pretty normal today, but I do see a chemtrail, and it's already moved past the other cloud, but it is starting to widen and turn into a cloud of its own. They are cloud seeding. That's what they're doing when they're up there. Now, if you don't believe me, spend some time, go outside, look up, and when you see a plane going by and leaving that trail, watch what happens to the trail. It doesn't happen all the time. I'm not saying all the time. But, I wish I'd had the camera with me this one day. I was driving over to the next town, and we saw this chemtrail. Contrail, whatever, chemtrail. You guys get what I'm saying. And it was I'm actually facing the way it was headed. And another one came behind it and joined up with it, continuing the line even further back. And then I've got this picture from, I just looked it up. I took it on September 3rd, 2016. This crazy cloud formation that rolled in, literally like a barrel roll, at 7 o'clock in the morning. And the gust of wind that came with it was crazy. And this thing was over 20 miles long, because I was at home. I was about ready to take my morning walk. And Mike had already gone to work, and he was over 20 miles away from me, and he saw it where he was. So I've got that picture. So once I get back home and have this uploaded, I'll share the link on Twitter, and then I'll share that picture. Crazy. And then just a few days after that, we had major flooding here. And I've even got pictures from that. We tried to help push a guy out with our blazer, and we got stuck in it. And actually, I'm on the road where that occurred. It's just a little bit south of here. And that was on September 11th, 2016. And lately here, as everyone knows, there are certain regions of the country that are just getting slammed with severe weather. We've had a lot of flooding. Yesterday, we took a drive to show some of the crops around here. Now, he's better at editing, so I left it to him to do. lot of the fields around here are missing half of the crops because it is just that bad. And the soybeans had to be planted late, so they're not doing very well. I mean, this field here that I'm passing now, I'd show you, but I can't turn the camera around, I'm sorry. They look awful. They have to plant late, and they are so puny. By this point in the year, they should be quite a bit taller. I mean, at least that big, and they're not. They're like that big. Now, there is a field north of here that's at higher elevation that didn't get flooded, so the beans are doing really well out there, but this one's just awful. And these floods that are happening all over the country, Indiana, Oklahoma, Missouri, Minnesota, Kansas, where we are. Heck, they even are having flooding in Iowa, Massachusetts, New Jersey. They even had a tornado in New Jersey. Never had a tornado there before, but now they've had one. Oh my. And it's so simple to manipulate weather. Now, there is a site that we look at quite often. Aside from Mimic, the weather site, and I'll find that link and I'll share that too, there's NextRad. That actually shows frequencies that you can literally see them manipulating the weather using frequencies. It's so obvious. Now, it takes a little bit of time to recognize it if you're not used to it. It took me a little while to recognize it. But once I saw it for myself, well, wait a minute. That storm was just headed that way. Something shot at it, and then it disappeared. Wow. Okay. So if they can make a storm disappear, you think they can't make one? Of course they can. And you know what it is. It's so they can push that climate change agenda. They're going to do something so drastic that everyone will just fall down on their knees and say, yes, please, climate change is the devil, please help us. That's what they want. They want to push that agenda. And did I mention her? Never Lose Truth? That's what got me started on this today, is because we were watching one of her videos. And I'll put her link in the description as well. Liberty gibbets, what was I going to say? Well, anyways, it's so blatantly obvious. Heck, I spoke to a woman here the other day, lives in Iowa. Her entire town is flooded. Well, that was about a week ago, but this has been going on since March. And lovely woman I'm speaking to now, Becky, she lives in Oklahoma, and they just had some bad storms come in. And we're looking to be seeing more storms here soon ourselves. Which is just fantastic because the creeks and the rivers are already high. And some of the fields still have some floodwater in them. So, fantastic. More flooding. Now, the worst flood that they ever had here was in 2007. Asshole. I'm sorry. The train conductors around here are really rude. The worst flooding they had here was in 2007. And the water got so high. Now, our house is one of the highest points where we live, and when you first come into town. So that house didn't actually get flooded. However, it was within 1 inch of the foundation. And of course, that meant the cellar was flooded. And that water stayed on them for about a week. He and Jason, my husband and Jason, went around town for 2 solid days. They didn't sleep for 2 days, just helping people move their belongings out of the floodwater. And boy, were they exhausted. And guess what? FEMA was nowhere to be seen. It wasn't until somebody called the news station and said, FEMA's everywhere else, but why aren't they here? The news station did a little clip about the town that was forgotten, and one of the FEMA workers hustled their butt over to the grocery store, picked up sandwiches and water, and hustled their butt on down to the town as quick as they could. They didn't want it turning into a mess. But it's been getting progressively worse in the past few years. And it's not natural. I mean, you can just look up at the sky and pay attention and you'll notice cloud formations that you've never seen before are suddenly what you see all the time now. Looking, I don't see any of the contrails, but well, it is. We have been overcast lately, so maybe they have done all they needed to do. I don't know. Anyways, I know that understanding these things and learning about them and educating yourself on them can be frustrating when you realize there's nothing you can do about it. But it's good to wake up to it and pay attention, because you don't want to be ignorant of these things. Having that knowledge is a good thing. So, with that said, once I get home, like I said, I will get those links. I'll put in the description, and on my Twitter, I'll share those pictures I told you about that barrel roll of a cloud and the flooding in September of 2016. So, oh, and some of you know here on Twitter, just a few months ago, I was sharing some of the flood pictures then as well. So, all right. So I'll take care of that when I get home. Y'all take care. God bless. Have a great day. I love you. Bye.